Boundless Spirit, pushing the limits of talk radio with Charlene Springer.
Welcome to Boundless Spirit Radio with Charlene Springer. And today we have this incredible woman that I came across her page or her videos on YouTube, and I was laughing so hard at the end of the videos, but then also understanding how incredibly accurate she was, a few weeks later from what she talked about on her videos. And this is Sabree, and she is from the Three Hoodoo Sisters. Welcome, Sabree.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. Yay.
It's so great to have you on because, you did this whole thing on Trump, and you do, you do like, what's Trump going to do this month? What's Trump's going to do the next month? And it was so entertaining. So it wasn't just like, you were having the emotions as you did the reading, and these are tarot readings, for those of you who don't know. While you were placing the cards, you were like, oh my God, this is for real people. And I thought it was just so genuine, everything that you see that you did. And you could tell that it came from spirit. And that for me is always key when people are really authentic with who they are. So first of all, when did you start reading cards?
Okay, I always tell people that I was born with a tarot card in my hand. I've always been curious. I've always been curious ever since I was a child. I was obsessed with Sylvia Brown and Miss Cleo, and I was one of those people who actually dialed that 1-800 number. And my parents got this huge bill, and then I was raised in Catholic school, so from very early on I was kind of introduced to this mystical relationship with God and saints. So I've always been interested in the supernatural, and it was as I got older, I would say the first tarot deck I ever bought was in Barnes and Nobles. And I remember the tarot section. It was super tiny, and it was hidden in a dark, dark cave in a dark, dark room where you had to go on this adventure to find an actual tarot deck. And I had no idea what a tarot deck really was. I had seen, psychics, AKA spiritual readers using them. I didn't know. So I bought one. And I wish I could remember the name of the first deck I bought, but I can't. And I remember I brought it home, and I had the book, and I was reading, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Okay, this makes sense. So one day, my mother, she came over my house, and I was like, Mom, you want a reading? My mom is kind of really into Jesus, but then she's really into the spiritual stuff too. So she's in between. So I pulled out the actual deck and I started reading her, and it even scared me because it was so accurate and it just flowed out. And my mother, she was like, you know what? That was really accurate. There's things I haven't told you, and you kind of brought them up in the reading. And she's like, I always knew you were strange. She didn't say special. She said strange. So I was like, okay. And then she was like, but just remember, it's all about Jesus. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I started reading for a few friends and people at my job. And one thing I realized is that my heart was so, open. I didn't have any prejudice towards it. But then as I read, I started seeing people having prejudice towards it, saying, oh, no, it's evil, it's of Satan, it's of this, it's of that. And I was like, I don't feel anything satanic when I'm reading. I just feel a flow of energy, And so that's when I actually saw the the actual shameful side of it, where people try to put religion in order to limit your spiritual gifts. And after a while, I started getting like negative feedback and I stopped. I literally randomly stopped. I just took all the cards and I don't remember if I threw them away, but I did something. I think I actually gave them away to like Goodwill or something. I think that's what I did. I gave them to Goodwill. So somewhere out there, there is a reader who started with Goodwill because of me. So that's what I have to say. But I love tarot. Like, I used to be a kid, okay? I'm about to tell you a secret, and I hope, like, nobody, if my mom hears this, like, my dad, he used to, like, give me $20, and there was this, like, gypsy reader, and I was, like, 10 years old, and she was literally, like, right down the street from the Catholic school. She was a gypsy, but really she was this Puerto Rican lady dressed up as a gypsy. And she used to give me readings like such and such, he likes you. And I was like, oh my God, I think he does. So from an early age, I was very open. So that's how I started reading tarot. But when it comes to my actual spiritual gifts, I always had a spirit of like discernment about people, even at a very young age. Like, I was never fooled by titles, or if you're a pastor, if you're a bishop, if you're a mayor, if you're a governor. I just had a feeling about you. And, you can hide things from people, but you can't hide things from spirit. I remember one occasion, my mother invited the pastor and his wife to dinner. And when I'm telling you, that pastor made my skin crawl, and the whole time he was there, he just kept smiling, and he was like, you should bring, yes, that charm. He was like, oh, you should put your daughter in like Bible study. And even at a very young age, I wasn't very religious. I was spiritual. So I was like, I don't want to go to Bible study. So he was like, Bible study. Do you know, maybe like 10 years later, he was arrested and placed in jail for child molestation. I just creeped me out. Yeah. And then as I got older during high school, I would tell my friends, if I were you, I wouldn't really be friends with her. If I were you, I wouldn't really, do that. And it was stuff that I felt I couldn't see. A lot of people say, oh, Thank you. I apologize. It just got disconnected. So, yeah.
Well, that's a good sign. That means that you have something very special to share. And,
oh, yes. Hallelujah.
Yeah. Who knows? So you were talking about how you're in growing up, you were, even though you were going to Catholic school, that you thought more about being spiritual as opposed to religious.
Yeah. I just did. Even as a child, I really think I was born of spirit. I really think I was born to do what I'm doing right now. I didn't really fall into it until I was actually 29, when I actually became a practitioner. But as a child, I was always very open to spirituality. Even when people were telling me, no, it's not of God, I said, but Jesus, he himself was so mystical. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Bible to me is a very mystical book. It has a lot of spirituality. It even has like divination and dream interpretation, and how people actually respected those who had sight. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I grew up thinking that the Catholic saints, that's a very mystical thing. You have it being a personal relationship with a spirit of a deceased servant of God. That's very spiritual. You know what I'm saying? And there was too many contradictions. And even as a child, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Y'all want to see Jesus walk on water, but why can't I walk on water? And I remember I asked my mother that, and she thought I was crazy. She's like, what do you mean walk on water? Why would you even want to walk on water? But what I was really trying to say was, why can't I see? Why can't I heal? Why can't I lead people to a better understanding of God? Because we all have God within us. We all have the divine truth, but sometimes we just need people to lead us. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I see Jesus and a lot of these prophets as leaders, as people who led people to more of their own personal salvation. I'm here to help people find their individual path. And as a child, I could never explain it, but I went through a lot in my own personal life before I even got to where I am now. And that's why I'm able to read the cards, is because I don't put any restrictions, because I know that anything is possible. Because the kind of life I've lived, I know that anything is, don't think the cards are lying. Because,
They catch you every time.
They do. They'll bring up stuff that doesn't, I always say the cards don't lie. It's how you interpret the cards that tells the actual story. Spirit.
You ever, because a lot of people, when they talk to you, they kind of embellish because you hear their words as opposed to really what Spirit's saying.
Say that again.
Yeah. What happens is, what I've seen is a lot of people, what they say, embellish the truth. So they tell you what their interpretation of what they think the card says.
I think as I see what you're saying. I think as humans, we mix our personal opinions with what we want the cards to say. And really, you can interpret a card in any way. One thing that has helped me as a reader is to actually understand the actual meaning of the cards. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So people will use, I'm trying to see how to say this. People use their own personal experiences to interpret the cards. So, for example, if a Donald Trump supporter is doing a Donald Trump reading, and intuitively, the card of death is speaking in terms of a negative end, they will turn around and say, oh, it's a positive new beginning, because they have favoritism towards Donald Trump. I've been accused of not liking Donald Trump, and I do not. But the thing is, you cannot deny that I allow Spirit to lead, because why is so many of the things I'm saying happening? You see what I'm saying? Let the reader speak and let the predictions follow. I always tell people, if nothing has happened in 90 days, then that reader was reading from their mind, from their, ego, from a lower place. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
So now, how do you not have, or how did you learn to not have judgment? Because you sense so many things, and Spirit's talking to you or through you. How do you discern and be okay and be able to stand in front of everyone without the judgment?
I have the first thing is that my gift is that I can interpret what Spirit is telling me, but I am just the vessel. You see what I'm saying? I am just the vessel. I have to allow Spirit to come in and take control. And even then, it's hilarious. I'll record a reading and I will post it, and I will see more stuff that I didn't even see in the reading. So here's what I'm saying. We have to let go and let Spirit. How do you learn to let go? One thing that I do is I just go with the actual flow. Even if it doesn't make sense, that's how you know a reading is a real reading. It doesn't make sense. You're not supposed to be able to comprehend, because you're not reading about your life. You're reading about the other person's life. A lot of people don't know how to let go because they use their logical mind. Your logical mind is not the mind that reads. It's the side of your mind that deals more with dreams and artistic and those type of things. Most people, I tell them to start off with meditation because we've been taught to think a lot, think, and spirit doesn't. How do I say it? It's not within that realm. It's in the other realm, which is kind of like a very fine line between what is logic and what is illogical. We like to stay in logic because that's what we were taught. One thing I did see is that I was the only child of my mother, and I wasn't raised around my half siblings. So I had a lot of time to play with myself. I had a lot of time to. I was very imaginative as a child. So I always allow the illogical to come through rather than trying to figure it out, figure it out, figure it out. So I relax and I allow spirit to come through. For people who started, I always advise, I know people are tired of hearing this, but it really does work. Meditation. You have to start off with learning to control your mind. You see what I'm saying? So that's, I tell people, even before you take a tarot card out of the box, I highly recommend that you meditate for at least a good month to get into the habit of shutting down your mind with all of these rational, make sense thoughts and then going more into the fantasy realm, which for some people it's very easy and for some people it takes practice. We are all intuitive, but some of us really do have the actual gift of sight. But what I try to do is help people develop their intuition and how to listen and how to pay attention to what God and the spirits are really trying to tell you. Spirit is not logical. Stop trying to be logical. It is illogical. It doesn't make sense. It's in the subconscious mind. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Spirit is not logical. It's not. Stop trying to make sense of something that is spiritual.
Wow. I know, but do you know how hard that is?
That's why it takes practice. It takes practice. Like when I was a kid, I started off as a kid kind of practicing. My mom would be like, you would talk to yourself for hours and play games and I would build cardboard Barbie houses. I was always in my imagination. And then as an adult, I was still very creative. I was an artist. I was a painter. I was doing things that kept feeding into the imaginative mind. Now, where the actual problem can roam, where I've seen, is that it can also, you got to be careful because someone who is truly tapping into spirit has to have a strong mind because you can go into a realm of almost being delusional also. So there are techniques and ways that you can keep your mind from not going from spirit into some really weird psychotic stuff. Yeah.
You don't want to go in that zone.
Yeah, and I see that a lot, and it's sad. But there are techniques and things that you can do. I know this sounds crazy, but I tell people you want to know another secret to going more into your illogical mind. It's gonna seem crazy. Get a coloring book. Start doing things that children would actually do. Why do you think kids are so open to spirit? Because they don't have any hesitation. The logical mind is still developing. A lot of people think it's because they just came out of the womb and they're so close to spirit. Yes, that is true. But it's because they don't have any hesitation. Society hasn't put in them, oh, spirit is not real. God is that. God is a faraway God of the religious people. They have no hesitation. Hesitation will keep you at a low level. It will. You have to learn to let go and literally let God.
Wow. I guess you were there. You're here for me today.
Yeah.
Because I know how difficult that can be sometimes. Sometimes it's, a little hard to let go and let God because it almost feels like death. I call it death that you,
Why?
yeah,
Why?
yeah,
Why?
just because you feel like if you lose control, then that would mean that you lose control. That's not a good thing because, you think control is good, losing control is not good. You know, it's that good bad thing that we
Maybe I
get when we're a
shouldn't
kid.
use the word losing control. I should say more so allowing your imaginative mind to take over.
Right,
Because that's where
right,
spirit lays. It lays in your imagination. Like you'll see stuff that just makes absolutely. Also, spirit is very symbolic. So
yes,
spirit will show you a monster eating out of a plate. It doesn't literally sometimes mean that the person has a monster in their house roaming like a cookie monster. It may mean that there is big, issues with self control, or there is somebody in the house who may be abusive. This is where like discernment. This is how you can tell if somebody is a good reader is because they naturally have a good spirit of light discernment. It's just been instilled within them. So being a tarot reader is very popular nowadays, but I
oh
truly
no,
do. It's very popular, and it scares me because I have clients who call me and they've gotten the worst advice, the worst advice that has nothing to do with their spiritual path. It has nothing to, it will not even improve their life in any sort of, it will actually make the things worse. Right now, it's a trend. It's cool to be spiritual, but this for me is my calling. And I've had too many experiences where it's been confirmed. I have clients, who have came back and their lives have completely changed. I don't read to entertain. I read to change your life. I read for you to get off of the phone and to really think about what changes need to be made. People always want to know, oh, how do I get closer to God? You get closer to God by walking in your own truth. God is the truth. But the thing is, nobody's truth is the same. My truth is not the same as yours. And I actually, as a reader, I had to evolve. That's another thing. As readers, we're constantly evolving. So through life experiences, I've evolved. I didn't know that, but I had to evolve into understanding that my truth is not yours. That's really one of the secrets. I really feel one of the secrets to life. What makes me happy will not make you happy. And I think we live in a world where we don't necessarily understand individuality. We promote it, we say that we do, but we don't. We don't really understand that God is so, I don't know, multifaceted. I always say if there really is only one true way to God, why do we have different races of people? Why do we have, you know, nobody's fingerprint is exactly the same. God is a God of individuality. You see what I'm saying? That's what I hope. Maybe before I die, I'll start seeing more of that. More people accepting. If you want to go down the path of Judaism, if that's the truth that God has set for you, may God guide you. If you want to be if you want to practice like voodoo, if that's the actual path God has set you on, may God put light in your path. We don't understand that yet. We've put God in this religious box, and it's scary.
yeah, yeah. And people get carried away, and then that whole misinterpretation began saying, well, we're fighting for God, so let's kill some more people.
Yeah, and that's what's going on in thank you. I love how you let's go blow some stuff up or let's go harass people at the, it's like in order to be happy.
God would have wanted it that way.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now, when did you start reading? When did you start your page to be a little more political? Now, when you were looking at political people.
Okay. I was actually on the path to law school, and I've always been into politics. I've always been highly opinionated. I was part of the it's funny. I tell you to use your illogical mind, but I was also big into using my logical mind into thinking and debating and challenging, certain things that I don't necessarily agree with. I really feel like the Trump administration was placed here for a reason. I think it was placed here to say, are you going to just sit down and take this, or are you going to stand up and reveal the actual truth? One thing I am seeing, a lot more people are involved in politics. A lot of people are starting to understand how politics works. More people are writing their local politicians, more people are getting involved more. But what kept upsetting me was when Donald Trump I can't lie, I wanted to vomit when the Donald Trump was taking his oath into office. And I felt okay, I know this is not the end of the world, and I know God has a reason for everything. So what I'm gonna try to do is to let people know ahead of time what's going on, so that they can prepare themselves every month for what is to come. That's why I really got involved in it. I just felt like people have the right to know what they're up to. I think I even said the month of July, Donald Trump would be passing a lot of laws. He'll be writing. He's cut all types of things. I forgot, but he's cut 3 major things in this month alone. And I had said it. He's going to start cutting stuff. Be aware, stay woke, and know what's going on, because it's going to affect all of us. I said by mid-2018, America is going to be a very interesting place. Everything that Obama did attempt or tried to, fix, is going to be, we're going to be in a very weird place financially by 2018. Going into 2019, it's a lot of stuff. I've been warning people, if you have money in stocks and you have certain investments, you may want to be careful. So I'm telling you this so that your brain will work, so that you'll start adjusting to what's about to happen. Also to piss you off, so that you do go and do something about it. 2 months ago, I don't know, I was pissed off about something, and I wrote my local politician. I didn't even know who he was, but now I do. I know everything. I know who's in my district. I know who's in state. I know who's my Senate seat. I know everybody. I know names. I know everything now. So when I don't like something, I know who to write. And yes, I will be there in 2018 during the midterm, elections. Get involved. You do have a certain amount of control in politics. You don't have to let these people run you over. That's really how I feel. Get involved. It really hurt me to see people scared. People literally scared of Donald Trump being in office. And I wanted to take that fear and switch it and give you kind of back your power. And I also wanted to expose the fact that we live in a country where people live in these bubbles where they cannot understand what it's like to go a day without, eating. They cannot understand what it's like being stopped by a police officer because of the color of your skin. You see what I'm saying? Donald Trump has exposed a lot of inequalities that need to be worked on, or this whole thing against Hispanics, and this whole thing against women's right and the right to have access to medical care. It's just people really have to keep their eyes open and get more involved. And that's why I really started doing it. I want to inspire you. I even want to piss you off so that you will get involved. I do.
And you'll be aware, yeah.
Stay woke, I guess. It's that song, Stay Woke. I'm here to keep your eyes open, and also the foolishness. I don't know if I can use cuss words. I'm just trying to find a way to say it. The pure. I don't want to say it. It's just like being at a circus. We have lost all respect. It's the saddest state I've ever seen our country in. And to see people who think that Donald Trump is doing a great job, and they think he's doing a great job because he's challenging, things that I have so much to say. I just don't want Donald Trump to take up all my energy, but stay woke. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, wow. That's incredible.
Stay
so
woke.
Now you've not only done Donald Trump, you've also done his cabinet, his son-in-law. You did a whole thing on
Nobody knows what's going on. You see, Spirit is very involved in politics, okay? Spirit is very involved in politics. Spirit wants you to know about politics because don't give away your power because you think you don't know. Spirit does not like that. Spirit wants you to stay woke on everything. His cabinet is literally people, we literally have a political system right now at the moment where we have to stay on our knees praying because his cabinet doesn't really understand what is going on. They don't understand how to run this country. They know how to make cutbacks, but they don't understand how to actually run a light nation. They don't really understand how to work with checks and balances. They don't have an understanding. They're really lost. Spiritually, when I tap into their energy, it reminds me of applying for a job that you're not really qualified for, and then you have to kind of go home and read books and baby step it. That's literally what we're in. That's his whole cabinet. They're just baby steppers. They don't really understand it. They really don't. And there's certain people who I find very dangerous who are within his cabinet, who I feel, especially when it comes to civil rights, a lot of people don't really talk about civil rights anymore, but there's a lot of human rights. Donald Trump has done a lot of major human rights violations, and we're not even paying attention. There is somebody in his cabinet who I just think he's the Antichrist, not literally, but if it was up to him, I really think Black people would be back on a plantation. Somebody who should have never been even allowed to even have Donald Trump's ears. I think certain things have to change in order to work with the actual president of the United States. I think you need a certain level of experience, a certain awareness of social justice and injustice, and none of these people have that. Nobody in his cabinet really is in touch with the people, the taxpayers, the ones like me and you who work hard to take care of ourselves. One thing, you may have not been a fan of the Obama administration, but he understood the working class people. I'm not saying he was perfect, but he understood. We have a president who was literally born holding a gold nugget in his hand. He doesn't understand.
Yeah. So now, are you gonna tell us who that person is? You gotta tell us
Who?
who the person is that you were just talking about.
Oh yeah, it's sad, but I have to find out his name. I
Can
can't
you tell
stand
us?
it.
It's the guy with the longish hair.
No.
Oh, okay.
And he's always in Donald Trump's ear, and I don't trust him. I don't. He's young too. He's
Oh,
so
young
young.
guy?
Yeah, he has like
Kushner.
a
Is
receding
it Gerald?
hairline.
Is
He
it
has
Gerald
a
Kushner?
no. No. He has a receding hairline. Kushner is strictly there for like monetary gain. He's there for like money. Like Betsy, like DeVoe, she's completely clueless. Like she literally really is completely clueless about what is going on. Ben Carson, he wants to quit. He wants to quit. Ben Carson is actually ready to quit. I don't. If Ben Carson makes it through 4 years of the administration, I would be surprised because he's really at his he is really at his wits end because starting in the like fall, he's gonna have to defend a lot of his cutbacks with HUD, and he's going to be fumbling, sweating bullets. I used to really look up to Ben Carson because I read his book, in high school, and it's sad. It just shows how so many years of hard work can be like destroyed by one mistake. Somebody who is so intelligent is going to look so stupid, by the actual fall. I just see him sweating. I see him like mumbling. I see him talking in circles.
Don't you feel like he's almost like drugged? I swear he acts like someone who's been drugged.
I feel that he's on a very short collar. I feel that he's head of HUD, but he does not control HUD. I want people to understand that. He's head of HUD, but he does not. He goes to work every day. He sits in his little office, and a man who is brilliant, who just kind of goes along with whatever Donald Trump wants and whatever. But there's a man in there who is really running HUD. Everybody's like, oh, it's Donald Trump. No, it's somebody else who is running HUD, and it's a man. Every time I pull out the tarot cards, it's a man. It's an older man, and he's actually running HUD. And I think Ben Carson is in a weird place morally because he feels that if they just gave him a chance, he could run HUD. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
but they're not giving him a chance.
So he's just a figurehead now.
That's all he is. Like Betsy DeVoe, she's actually is trying to get more involved. I see her energy trying to get, like, I knew that we were screwed when the Board of Education is putting out tweets with like misspelled words. I'm like, this is crazy. This
I know, that was
is
pretty bad.
crazy. I said, we are like the United States of America. This is beyond, I never thought I would see. They're going to put this administration in textbooks. That's just how people will come up and ask me when I'm 100, did you really live through the Trump? Yes, I did. This woman goes into her, and the thing Spirit says is that she tries to act like she knows what she's doing. Another thing that has not been revealed is that she's fired a lot of people. A lot of people who kind of have a lot of experience within the educational field. She's fired them in that, like, the department because she's not trying to find anybody to challenge her. She's putting people who don't necessarily have a lot of experience within the education. They got some, but she's looking for people who will go with what she wants. It's crazy. It is. The school system is going to suffer. When I'm telling y'all, people just, she's about to start shutting down a lot of schools, shutting them down. We already have issues with low performing schools in certain, parts of the country. Well, she's gonna, people, oh Lord. It's,
Well, I'm afraid to ask you what's your general sense of Donald Trump for the summer months. What's gonna what are you feeling for him in these summer months?
that's, let me see. I'm about to tap into Donald Trump's energy. He's going to start talking a lot about the like wall. Haven't you noticed he has it really been talking a lot about the like wall? He's trying to see a lot of these cutbacks that he's been making to like HUD and early familyhood and planning and all those other, and cutting this and cutting that and cutting this. He's going to take that money and put not all of it, but some of it towards the actual wall. So he's going to start talking about this wall, but he's really trying to detour us from what is really going on with like Russia. You see what I'm saying? So he's trying to find a way to like detour. Plus, oh God, something is coming up in like January, November. He's gonna pass a law that is going to light a match up under a lot of Hispanics. Like him and Jeff Sessions. It's something that is like, remember when, Arizona passed that crazy law where it's like driving while Hispanic and a cop can stop you and ask you all types of crazy questions just because you look Hispanic? And this law is going to be crazy. But I think it's going to be challenged by the actual courts. I think it's going to be challenged, and I think it's going to be held up for a while. In the fall, a lot of the things that we heard in the summer is going to come back to haunt him, but it's a big ball of energy. We will see 2 people officially step down from his team or from his cabinet. But here's the thing, is that they're still involved. So even though you see people, stepping down, they're still involved. So we will start seeing the beginning of impeachment. But will Donald Trump be impeached? No, he will not. He will walk away. But the thing I like about the impeachment trial is that I feel how his energy calmed down. And then it's like the next year and a half or the next year is calmer. But a lot of the laws that he put in place in 2017 and 2018 will really start to take effect. A lot of the people who voted for him in the Midwest and all of these conservative southern countries will start to reap what they have sown and see how these cutbacks have affected their lives. It's going to show. It's going to show. Those who are poor will remain even more poor. Donald Trump's fall is a big ball of shit, and there's some more. He wins because a lot of his laws pass, but he loses because there is going to be a call to action where certain people are going to have to step down. And then the whole impeachment thing is the ball is kind of already rolling. He will have to stand trial. Jeff Sessions is a very dangerous man. He's kind of bringing back a lot of those old like 90s laws. We're going to see around the beginning of 2018 where they're really going to try to kick him out of office. We're about to start seeing states that do not agree with Donald Trump's laws start to, well, we're about to see more state control. I don't know how to explain it. More smaller government control. There's going to be states that will literally like how a lot of people, certain states like Georgia refuse to take, Obamacare. There's going to be a lot of states that are going to flat out refuse to take on many of his laws. So we will start seeing people start to like retaliate. It's a very interesting fall.
Do you think that they'll actually like leave the United States? Because isn't Texas like one of those states that they have to reapply every few years or something like that? I've heard that something like that before.
What is Spirit thing about Texas? The governor of Texas is going to change, of course, but he's going to be even more extreme. So whoever is going to take office after the governor after this is going to be even crazier. Like I don't even know any other words to explain it. A big supporter of Donald Trump. I almost feel like during the midterm elections, certain states are going to retaliate and still vote for, Donald Trump supporters. A lot of people think, 2018 is going to be that year where we see a lot of things flip. We will, but you'll be surprised by how many people are just going to just stick to what they know and what their great-great-granddaddy knew and what they knew. It's no longer even about party lines. It's not even about that anymore. It's sticking to what you know because your great-granddaddy did it. It doesn't matter, even if the laws are created against you. That's not what matters. It's the fact that I will never vote Democrat because we just don't do that. It's not even, or even the Democrats, we won't vote Republican just because. We're in a very strange place, but I'm glad that Spirit and God is exposing this, because if this continues, I don't think right now, I hope I don't live to see it, we will have another civil war if we don't learn how to work with each other, if we don't really understand the whole concept that none of us are really native to the United States. Until we can all take that concept and really understand that this is not really our land, we're just respectfully allowed to live here because of certain laws. It shocks me how people are attacking, immigrants, where Donald Trump's own mother or father was an immigrant. His wife is an immigrant. This is not about immigrants. This is about race, okay? This has nothing to do with, you're a immigrant. You need to get out of my country. What people are really saying, no, you're a Middle Easterner. You need to get out of my country. You're an African. You need to get out of my country, okay? So thinly veiled, there is this extreme racism. Then it comes down to classism. Then it comes down to social economic. We're divided by so many things in this country, and it's sad because if it continues, Spirit is not saying it's going to happen, but if we keep going down like this, there's going to be a war, and it's not cute. Wow. It's not cute.
This is a devolution, not an evolution.
Yeah, because as we're fighting each other, there's foreign invaders coming in, okay? Okay? So if we can't learn to just respect each other, if we can't learn, and it's sad because people have turned working with each other as something corny or as something intolerable. Like, why should I work alongside you? Because if we don't, we leave ourselves open to outside invaders. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm just being honest. Y'all try to shoot and kill each other now, while China or whoever is gonna try to come and invade. That's like the perfect plan. Keep each other fighting so that we stay distracted by what's going on in the actual world, and how right now we are at our weakest because the world knows that we have a cabinet and a president who doesn't really understand what in the world is going on. And then people say, "Oh, Donald Trump is not very popular." He's Donald Trump is very popular. Donald Trump is very popular, okay? Especially in certain parts of the United States, okay? He's still very popular, okay? Like, they will support him till the very end. There is no way Obama would have lasted a month in office with all of these Russian ties, all of these corruption ties. So we have to know that there's something greater than Donald Trump that is keeping him in office. I don't know who it is. I don't know what it is, but they're keeping him in. One thing I have warned people, understand that half of the stuff that we're seeing is a show. It's a show to appease people of him being in office. I don't know about all of this conspiracy theory stuff, but spiritually something is going on where there is somebody above Donald Trump who's tweaking. They're giving us a show. Look, we did try to impeach him, but it didn't happen. It's like trying to soothe you to say, well, we tried, it did not work, so you still have to deal with him for the next few years. It's all planned out. It's really sad. I do think his win was last minute. I do think that, though.
Yeah. I don't think it was.
His win was last minute.
Hillary must have said no to something, and then
Oh yeah.
So now,
his win was last minute.
Now, you talk about something being behind this, and I'm just asking Spirit here. Do you think it's something actually off planet, not really something of this planet?
It's people. It's people. It's people who literally have more power than politicians. It's people who are playing a game, and they want you. For those that will not accept Donald Trump, then we're going to give you a show to appease you because he's staying 4 years. He's not going anywhere. But it's going to be a tough 4 years. I really think after a few years of Donald Trump being out of office, I think he will die. I think just out of all the stress of being, I think there are people. I'm not even big into conspiracy theories, but there are shadow people who not spiritually, but people who have power and influence and money. I don't know if it's the Johnson and Johnsons. I don't know. But all Spirit always shows me is there's a puppet and it's playing and it's holding Donald Trump. I don't normally bring it up in my videos because I don't see details. Because when it comes to that, because understand, these people also practice high magic. They're like Masons. They're, certain things, and they know how to hide stuff. I just know that there is something weird going on with this whole thing is a show. It really is. Because in the end, nothing is really going to happen.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, he's staying in office. And another thing that always rattles me is how people say, we want a Christian president. I'm like, do you realize that most of our presidents have been like Masons? High degree Masons. Have nothing to do with Christianity. Nothing. Part of secret societies, part of blood rights, and all types of stuff. And those aren't conspiracies. Like, you can go online and pull up, Donald Trump. You can pull up George Bush Sr. You can pull up Bill Clinton, Masons. If you know anything about Masons, they practice high magic. It has nothing to do with Jesus or the Bible. Donald Trump is not a religious man. So remember that. He's not.
Has he even gone to church since he's been in office? I don't think so. Other than he did the show thing.
Yeah. Then he released some crazy statement about a war on Christianity. I'm like, this has nothing to do with Christianity. This has to do with a changing demographics in a country that is becoming less Caucasian, and more Hispanic, more Black, more of a melting pot. They don't want that. So they're going to create as many laws and as many like distractions to keep the playing ground uneven. That's really why he was voted in. It's just for that. But who I was speaking in terms of was Stephen Miller, Senior Policy Advisor. That is a very dangerous man. That is a very dangerous man. And I knew he was an advisor, but I couldn't remember his name. Stephen Miller. If you Google this man and you look at his history, that is a straight up white supremacist. This man does not, he even, Google this man. This man thinks that diversity is Satan, okay? He hates anything that represents minorities, that represents change. He is a dangerous man. Like, I tell people were worried about, all of these other people. I said, no, ma'am. I said, that's that other bald-headed dude, Stephen Miller. That man is going to have a very successful career in politics. Extremely, extremely. We will be seeing him in politics. I believe that he will end up being the governor of some state. I do. He'll be in Senate. This man he's like a boil in your ass. You know what I'm saying? You just need to pop. But he's going to represent the demographics of people who do not want to see certain groups of people have an even playing level. We're about to see, even after Donald Trump leaves office, we're about to see people who are straight up racist have very high, people used to hide it even before President Obama. No, it's going to be very out in the open now. It's official. Stephen Miller is here to stay. He's here to stay.
So Bannon is not really the threat.
Bannon is like, fuck this. Bannon is actually kind of like not, a lot of people in the White House don't care for Bannon.
Yeah, I know most people.
They don't care for Bannon. Doesn't really, now that he knows Donald Trump, he doesn't really care for Donald Trump. Bannon feels that Donald Trump is not fit to be in office, but he will never say it. He feels that Donald Trump is listening to the wrong people, and one of them is Stephen Miller. They do not like each other at all. They do not like each other at all. Bannon is kind of like, I don't really feel he plays a role anymore. His energy, he may have an opinion, but his energy feels very, the way he wanted, Bannon is more sneaky. Bannon likes to make laws that will evolve into racist laws, where Stephen Miller is like, punch them in the face. Do it now.
Wow.
Establish it now.
Wow.
So Bannon thinks Stephen is too hot-headed, and Stephen thinks Bannon is like old and needs to sit down. Bannon is not even an issue. I knew that from the very beginning when he walked into office. No, it won't. It won't. It no. It won't work.
Wow.
It won't work. Bannon is not even. Bannon is just collecting his check.
Mhm.
He's
showing
not.
up for work. Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like clocked out. You know, he feels that Donald Trump is moving too fast in certain areas when he could have built upon it. And, you know, right now he's just kind of building his check. What's her name? I can never say her name right. Condoleezza Consuela. Yeah,
Condoleezza Rice.
Condoleezza Rice. Yeah, she's very outcasted in the White House. She knows that they don't really trust her or care for her, and part of it is because she's black. So because a lot of the laws being created are against the poor and the minorities, so they don't trust her. So she kind of keeps more to herself. She has made friends with certain people in there, but overall, her energy feels like it's on the other side of the White House. Like she says her hellos, and she feels that she's not really welcomed. But but again, she's here to collect the check. And again, the inexperience, but still collecting a check. You see what I'm saying? So she's gonna ride that train until it falls off the track. She's here till the very end, even when things look extremely crazy. Because Donald Trump is.
Yeah, it's not Condoleezza. It's the other one. It's Omarosa.
Omarosa. I'm sorry.
Omarosa. Right. I'm like, is Condoleezza in there?
I'm like, Omarosa. I apologize. I was like, is that right? That's what I kept saying. Is that right? Yeah. Omarosa's gonna ride that gravy train till she doesn't care. She's kind of clocked out herself because she feels that she's not welcomed. And the sad part is as a minority, she knows that she's not welcomed, but she's more worried about her money. She will also have a very successful career after the whole White House thing. The crazy part about all this is how some people are going to be super successful after all of this is done. They will be rolling in money and speaking engagements. It's just, I still can't believe it.
Wow. That's incredible.
And you just have people who are just like, who else?
Well, you didn't talk about the vice president.
Believe it or not, guys, he has a good heart. But he is a man. He's a perfect example of, I was raised a white Christian upper middle class male. He's a straight up result of his environment. But he's literally a result of his environment. The vice president, he likes Donald Trump as a person. It's sad when people in your own cabinet know that you're not fit, but they will never say it. It's sad because he doesn't feel like Donald Trump is fit to be president either, but he likes Donald Trump as a person, and so he's willing to work with him. But the vice president is at a point where he's going to start being very careful about speaking on certain things that Donald Trump does or is doing. He's gonna become very tight-lipped because at the end of the day, his career feels lukewarm. Like after all of this, his career feels very lukewarm. It doesn't feel bad. It doesn't feel good after this. For him, after the administration, it has I don't feel a positive effect. He's in a very weird place as vice president. He's in a very place that he can't really even explain himself. He's Spirit is like he's literally a product of his environment. He's very moral too. Like he's really not as secretly dirty as you know how a lot of politicians are the most morally corrupt people that you'll ever meet. Because I've read politicians, I've done reading. They will do anything. They will sacrifice a baby if they have to stay where they're at. He's actually very yeah, exactly. He's very moral. He's very high in what he feels is right and wrong. He's actually not a bad person, but he's just a person of his ways. I don't personally like him, especially with how he's treated Planned Parenthood. I have a lot of problems with that. Sometimes he's just in a weird place. I don't know how to explain it. He feels lukewarm. He's not sure where he's going in 4 years. He's not sure. He's talked about running for president, but a lot of people are kind of like, I don't think you have a chance anymore. And I think he knows that. So this did not work out well for him in the long run. There's someone else who is going to kind of have a weird. Some people made it out really good, and some people just got put in a weird place. I forgot his name too. He's young. He's kind of handsome. Mm-hmm. His hair is like dark. Mm-hmm. He's been really involved in the Trump care. I call it Trump care. He's been very involved in it. Very, very.
Oh, not Ryan. Not Ryan, right?
What's his name?
Not Ryan.
He's young. He's a governor for a certain state.
Oh, Rick Perry?
What's his name? You would think I would remember all of these people. Yes, Paul Ryan. I think no, he's Speaker of no. He's Speaker of the House. Yeah, because I had to think about it. Paul, I think his name is Paul Ryan. He's gone too. After all of this, after 4 years, it's weird because he's almost blacklisted. It's like he's not cool to be associated with. He's gonna have some issues in politics. Also, he's gonna start having a lot of health issues. He's gonna start having a lot of issues with his health. I don't know what it is, but he's gonna have to have some surgery, and it just feels weird. It just feels like he's not going to. He's gonna suffer a lot of the consequences. He's gonna be hated. Mm-hmm. People will not really care for him after this administration. So it's weird. It's like people who are the people who are. I'm seeing this now. You know how Spirit will start putting stuff in order. You go, a lot of people who were involved within the House of Representatives and you know, and that type of stuff, they're gone. A lot of them are done.
Wow.
Because people are so pissed off.
Right. Well, we have to save some of this for the Woo Hour because then we get to go a little bit deeper. But what I'd like to know is how can people get more information on you? How can they schedule appointments? How can they, what do you have planned for us?
It's so fun because ever since I got back from out of town, I'm actually about to start a tarot academy. I am starting a book club. It's called Soulful Readings, and it's SOULFUL, of course, Soulful Readings, and it's on Facebook. I will be launching that actually tomorrow. The actual tarot school will be launched by September. So it's going to be really interactive, one-on-one. I've already recorded 20 videos. It's just going through the whole editing. You can email me, chat, do all types of stuff. And there's a lot of stuff coming. Of course, my YouTube page, Three Hoodoo Sisters. And if you would like to contact me, which of course I always love to hear from people who are trying to, evolve. And you can contact me at threehoodoosisters.weebly.com. You can also email us at threehoodoosisters@gmail.com. Gmail. And one thing that we are going to start offering is a lot of people. One thing I love about this whole Trump stupidity is that a lot of people are out here doing their entrepreneur thing, and I'm so excited to see that. So we're going to start offering business readings. We also teach candle magic, that love magic, spicing things up. But we have a lot of things coming. I'm really excited about the Tarot Academy. Like, I cannot wait. Like, in the soulful readings, the first book that we're going to be reading is Jambalaya, okay? And so I'm excited to get everyone involved, and it's a interactive, like, book club. Also, for the month of September, we will be going a lot into ancestors. People have a lot of questions about their ancestors and how to, like, connect. So in the month of September, you'll see the actual launching of the actual Tarot Academy and a lot of ancestral. So we'll be making a lot of videos about that. There's so much more to come. So I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. So if you want a reading,
so can you spell your website out? It's www. Is it three with the number three, or three written out three?
THREE Hoodoo HOODOOSISTRS .weebly.com. Three Hoodoo Sisters .weebly.com, and we offer a lot of services. We offer spiritual cleansings. We offer a lot. We do a lot. A lot of people don't know, but I am a priestess. So it's not something I talk about a lot, but so, like, I do offer other services that are much deeper, spiritually.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, wow, it's so awesome to have you on, Sabree. You have been
thank you.
Incredible.
I love the sound of your voice. It's so soothing. It's like your voice is like water. It's like, how you like go and you into the ocean and you just kind of lay down and you just let it flow. It's very soothing.
Thank you. And we're gonna have you on the Woo Woo Hour, and I can't wait to play in the Woo Woo Hour with you because this is so exciting. So thank you again for being on with us today. And you've been listening to Boundless Spirit Radio with Charlene Springer. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Boundless Spirit goes off the rails. Next up in our members-only segment, the Woo Woo Hour. Whether it's happening on the planet, off the planet, or inside the planet, host Charlene Springer, expert guests, and you dare to go there in the Woo Woo Hour.